Soundtrack. Okay. Hello, my name is Jansen Henschel. You may remember me from last year's WordPress presentation. If you don't, that's okay. This talk will be about how to give a great WordPress presentation. I have 3 main points to consider about making a WordPress presentation. These are: be prepared. Even your nervousness won't keep you from giving a great presentation. And tell your personal story. Point 1, be prepared. And by that, I mean organize your presentation so that you aren't nervous and the audience can follow your words. What are the main things you want your audience to know when they leave? What are the things you want the audience to have stuck in their head when they think about your presentation? If they take away even just a few of your main points, then you've really accomplished something. When people attend a conference or any kind of meetup, what sticks out to them are the highlights of it. Organize your presentation around the ideas you want your audience to remember. If you're at a loss as to how to start your script or your slides, start with your main points. Think of the 3 to 5 things that you want people to take away from your presentation, and that you will be happy if they remember those 3 to 5 things. Those main points will be the basis of your outline. It's crucial that you know that your audience understands what you're talking about. But in order to accomplish this, you have to understand the different types of people that will be coming to your presentation and write your presentation accordingly. There are 4 different types of people that usually come to WordCamp. The first one is the beginner. They range from knowing how to use email to being well-versed in using Excel or Google Docs. Some haven't really even mastered their own phones yet. When I was here on Beginner's Day, several years ago, I wasn't really coding yet, but I was really interested in learning. Most of the people we met seemed to work for big corporations and nonprofits like universities. It seemed to us that people were there because their work sent them there. So if you've planned your presentation for the beginner crowd, be aware that they don't yet have enough knowledge to have too many questions, so you'll be filling in those gaps for them. Next are the designers. The designers are great at design, but may not be such great coders. They have an understanding of design softwares and analog aspects of design, but may not have experience with coding visuals for a website. If you are planning your presentation for the beginner crowd, be aware that, again, they may not be as knowledgeable on coding as you are, though it's possible if you are only a coder that they will have a natural ability for better UX or user experience. The third type of person is the intermediate WordPresser. An intermediate WordPresser has and can build websites, but they don't know what to do with them. They have a website, but they don't have much traffic going to it. They're here to find out the next stage of what they should do with their website. They are usually interested in business and marketing. If you are planning your presentation for the intermediate WordPressers, keep in mind that they know what they're doing, they learn quickly, and they are generally looking for specific solutions to their problems. Finally, we have the advanced WordPressers. They are great at coding and marketing, and can code in several different languages, WordPress being just one of them. They are looking for more clients and are trying to expand their business. Obviously, not everyone fits into these 4 groups perfectly, but they give you a general idea of the people you're presenting to. The presentation I did last year, How to Make a WordPress Portfolio, would be aimed at beginners, designers, and intermediate WordPressers, since it was about making a WordPress portfolio which can be useful for getting a job. Plus, it has advice on UX, or user experience. For the advanced WordPresser, people seem to enjoy the reviewing of concepts they learned but maybe forgot. People can't remember what you're saying if they can't see or hear it. You may think that you've made these elegant slides, but if whatever you've written forces people to take out their glasses to see it, you're not getting your points across. Make your text as big as you can, so that the people in the back of the room can see. I did a lot of drawings in my earlier presentation, and I ended up redoing most of them to make them look bigger and bolder. Which one do you think looks better? This one or this one? Also, avoid having your slides be basically a closed caption of your entire presentation. If people spend most of their time reading, they won't be listening to you. Let your text support the main points of what you're talking about. Or better yet, use some sort of visual presentation of what you're talking about. People will see the visual image and still listen to your words. You'll convey your main idea in more than one way. I had some of my text in my slides, but my slides mostly consisted of my drawings. My drawings helped to get my points across, even when I didn't go into detail explaining them. Pictures are great, in that people can add their own meaning to them, as well as what you're saying it means. You can't plan for everything. Everyone does last-minute tweaking of some sort, whether it's changing your slides to be better, fixing a grammar mistake in the script, or realizing that your onstage setup doesn't work properly. As a first-hand example, when I was doing my first WordPress presentation, I went over the drawings with my mom, and she told me that you redid some of your drawings because of Adam's shout-out, but the rest still look the same. You'll be embarrassed if people see the different styles of slides. So I redid all of the drawings the night before my talk rolled around. Another example, when I did my presentation at WordCamp Las Vegas 2017, the projector was showing the wrong slide. It's good to have slides, but try not to be totally dependent on them. Be ready with other options. If you think there might be a problem with visuals for the audience, if you think there might be a problem with slides, have 2, 3, maybe even 4 of analog visuals for the audience. That's just in case things go really wrong. Most of the time, things go pretty smoothly, but you can make up certain things depending on your comfort level. If you're using certain types of devices, make sure ahead of time that they have proper dongles and equipment. When I was doing my first talk, I had to talk to Tom to check if he had a dongle to connect my iPad to the projector. He didn't, so he got one specifically for my talk. Thanks for that, by the way. Do not rely on anything Wi-Fi. If you want to show a real-time website, take screenshots just in case. Depending on the location, the Wi-Fi may be spotty. Never depend on it. Something important about your contact information, make sure it's not and will not be old. If you really want people to contact you, give them at least one forever contact. In all honesty, you never know when someone's going to watch your presentation. They could watch it when you give your presentation. They could watch it on WordPress.tv. Or they could watch it 2 to 3 years from now, hoping to see what your presentations are like. You never know when or why people are going to watch your presentation. So just in case, have a forever email or phone number, Google number, whatever, that you know you're going to have for a long time. And it's best if one of those numbers or contacts is not attached to your business. That seems counterintuitive, but businesses come and go, while you'll still be around. So if your business morphs into something else or becomes obsolete in some way, people should still be able to contact you through your forever contact. Give people all your information at the presentation. I've been to several computer conferences where people were told to check their slides at a particular address or GitHub, Slack, whatever. I've only ever looked once or twice at people's slides, and those were for things I was really interested in. While it's good, and I still encourage people to do that, understand that most, at least 95%, will never look at those slides. People come to conferences for the experience of the presentation and important takeaways that they get from the room, so to speak. It's really important to hit the main points that people take away and to make your presentation seen and heard. You may want to do a giveaway at the end of your presentation so people stay until the end, or something funny or interesting going on to set you apart. But in all honesty, they're really there for the information. Don't make it hard for people to get that information. Point 2, even your nervousness won't keep you from doing a great presentation. I say that because it's true. Your nervousness won't derail you from making a good presentation. It would be silly just to say, don't be nervous, since you're going to be nervous no matter what I say. Heck, even I was nervous. But when I started talking, I sort of got into the flow of the presentation. Why? Because I was prepared. I had something I could read with little boops to signify where I should change the slide. An experienced presenter might not have needed those notes, but since last time was my first time presenting, it was calming to have something where all I had to do was read. My mom says I was still a bit fidgety. She says I was advancing to the next slide when I shouldn't have. But I would have been even more fidgety if I hadn't written down those notes. Of course, I was also nervous on the days leading up to the talk. In fact, when we went to the speaker's dinner, I was grumpy and sad while eating mac and cheese. My mom told me, don't worry, everybody's rooting for you. But I didn't really believe her. I thought that since she was my mom, she had to say that. But then our phone master came up and told me, hey, don't worry, everybody's rooting for you. And that's when I started to believe it. So if you're really nervous about giving a presentation, think about it. When was the last time you walked into a room thinking, I hope this is horrible and a complete waste of my time? Nobody thinks that, and that's why it's true. Everybody really is rooting for you because they want to see a good presentation. Of course, some people will be even more nervous from hearing that. On the second day of WordCamp, Adam gave me a shout out. I was so surprised by that I had to work really hard on my drawings. You may think you're going to disappoint your audience, but that's just your nervousness talking. Of course, it's still good to take anti-nervousness measures, such as dress rehearsing your presentation beforehand. And by that, I mean read it aloud. It's not enough just to read it to yourself. You need to hear your own words out loud to yourself. It's very important. You get practice for the big talk, and you notice strange wording errors, grammar errors, or even just things that don't make sense. You can also time your dress rehearsals in order to see precisely how long your talk is, and adjust your talk accordingly. Introduce yourself to the audience to establish a connection and build confidence. During the presentation, speak loudly so that everyone can hear you. Don't let other noises, such as from the opposite room, derail you from your talk. To make sure you're speaking loudly and confidently, do a sound check with the audience. This also helps build a connection. You can condense this to, can everyone hear me? Can the people at the back of the room hear me? Nothing's more annoying as an attendee for someone to